With just hours to go before the Olympics opening ceremony, arson attacks disrupt traffic on France's high-speed train lines. And following a Supreme Court ruling banning sleeping in public spaces, California Governor Gavin Newsom issues an executive order to remove homeless encampments. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Friday, July 26th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. We begin with what's being called a malicious attack on France's high-speed rail network. Arson is setting a series of coordinated fires to disrupt travel just ahead of the Paris Olympics opening ceremony. It's already causing delays and is expected to severely impact commuters until at least the end of the weekend. The railway operator says the high-speed train network has been disrupted after fires were deliberately set to damage its installations. This incident is likely to add some apprehension ahead of the much-anticipated Paris Olympics Games. France has beefed up its security surrounding the world event in unprecedented levels. There will be more than 45,000 police, 10,000 soldiers, 2,000 security agents deployed, with several snipers and drones keeping watch from above as the Games officially get underway. It's something you may have noticed in your own city recently. Hazy skies outside and poor air quality. That's because wildfires are raging in the west, and the impact of the wildfire smoke is being felt as far as the East Coast. It's California's largest wildfire of the year, dubbed the Park Fire, burning north of Sacramento near the city Chico. How did it start? Authorities say a suspect has already been arrested on suspicion of arson, said to have been seen pushing a burning car into a dry embankment and then running. The fire is larger than the size of the city of Atlanta and is only 3% contained. It's not the only fire consuming the time and energy of firefighters and officials. Hundreds of wildfires are spreading throughout California, Oregon, and Canada, forcing thousands of evacuations. And in Oregon, fires have been ablaze for days, burning nearly 1 million acres. The Durkee fire there is the largest burning in the U.S., roughly the size of Houston. The nationwide impacts of wildfire smoke are expected to worsen throughout the weekend. California's Governor Gavin Newsom has issued an executive order calling on state agencies to remove homeless encampments. It comes a month after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of allowing cities to enforce bans on sleeping outside in public places. The order offers guidance on how to remove the encampments in a humane way. It also makes it clear the decision to remove encampments is up to individual cities. California has the largest unhoused population in the country, with more than 180,000 people experiencing homelessness. U.S. authorities say they've arrested a Mexican drug kingpin who's evaded capture for decades. They say federal agents lured Ismael Zambada, known as El Mayo, across the border into Texas, where he was arrested. El Mayo is said to be the leader of the powerful Sinaloa cartel, which authorities say has been flooding the U.S. with deadly fentanyl. Also arrested, Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of the cartel's infamous co-founder and former boss, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo is currently serving a life sentence in a U.S. prison. Former Hollywood movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, who's been sentenced to 16 years in prison after being found guilty of rape, has been hospitalized in New York. His representative says Weinstein is facing a myriad of health conditions, including COVID-19 and double pneumonia. The 72-year-old is currently awaiting retrial in Manhattan on sex crime charges after his conviction was overturned on appeal in April. He is tentatively set to be retried in November. His rape sentence comes out of a conviction in Los Angeles, but he's being held in a New York prison while waiting for retrial. According to the Ohio State Supreme Court, customers who order boneless wings should not expect them to be boneless. This whole debate stems from a case brought on by a man who says he developed medical problems after a tiny bone fragment became lodged in his throat after he ate boneless wings at a restaurant in 2016. He sued that restaurant for negligence and breach of warranty. But the Ohio justices ruled that boneless wings actually refers to the cooking style, and in its ruling says it's common knowledge that chickens have bones. Finally this morning, it takes great skill and determination to make it to the Olympics. But how about making it to 4? Now that takes a lot of heart, as Team USA's Casey Eichfeld shows us. Here's senior producer Brock Kohler with our final installment of Racing Toward Paris.
Casey Eichfeld is many things: a husband, a father, an Olympian, and a self-described Disney fanatic.
We got married at Disney World in Epcot.
And he's hoping for a little Disney magic as he enters his 4th Olympics, competing in canoe slalom for Team USA.
Canoe slalom is a series of gates hanging over a whitewater river. Athletes have to navigate those gates, and there'll be 18 to 25 of them. Fastest time wins. If we touch a gate, we incur a 2-second penalty. If we miss a gate, go through it upside down or the wrong direction, we get a 50-second penalty. And that's really about it.
But that's far from it, at least when we're talking about Eichfeld, making history in his sport for most Olympic appearances. He was, in a way, born for canoeing.
My parents had a boat waiting for me before I was born. So I don't know if I was really given all that much choice.
So once he started, he says everything just clicked. A perfect fit, like Cinderella's glass slipper, and he fell in love with the sport. Getting to his first Olympics in 2008 at 18 years old, an experience he calls super surreal, especially being part of the opening ceremony.
That's one of the memories that will stay with me for the rest of my life, was particularly my first opening ceremonies. You know, there's 550 of us. We're walking through the tunnel into the bird's nest, and everybody's chanting USA, USA. It gives me chills every time I think about it.
And Eichfeld says it's not just the memories on the water that stick with him.
I have memory of, I was hanging out in our athlete lounge in our village building, and just chilling out watching some other sports. Michael Phelps wanders in, and he's like, "Hey, are there any Uncrustables left?" And I'm like, "Dude, I got you." Took him right to the fridge that had them. Had a coffee together, chatted a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, man, it's cool to see you. Yeah, I'm not at all starstruck.
After placing 7th at the Rio Games in 2016, his highest placement, and then not qualifying for Tokyo in 2021, Eichfeld contemplated retirement. He was starting a family and wondering if it was time to turn the page on his Olympics quest. But like Moana, the water called to him.
I had to make the decision, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to, there's no messing around with this. Like, if I'm going to take the time to be away from my family as much as I need to be, then I need to really put the effort in, and it paid off.
At 34 years old, Eichfeld is now the veteran among his Team USA crew, and he's already thinking ahead, not only about his Olympic dreams, but the ones coming true at home too.
I'm really happy with my decision. Now I get to make that decision again. We've got a home Olympics coming, and we have a baby boy coming at the end of October. So yeah, big year for me. I like to add big things to my Olympic years. In 2016, my wife and I got married in December, and this time we're having a baby 2 months after the Olympics. It's just, why not make it a really big year, a really memorable year?
And with his family in Paris motivating him, Eichfeld is looking to bring home the gold this time around, and then celebrate in style.
I want to prove that I belong here, and that even in my advanced age, that I can still throw it down. So I'm fighting for the podium, and I want to be up there. And then when I get home, I want to go to Disney.
These are your top stories for this Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great weekend, and let's go Team USA.